Our teacher, and today we're going to go through full slices. Okay, so full slices is a great way to add brightness or to lighten the hair as quickly as possible. Okay, so you're going to want, this is a way to add as much color to the hair in a quick fashion. So here's the head sheet behind me here for the full slices. What I'm going to start by is taking about an inch in the front, where we're just going to slice our way back. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just outline about an inch of the front hairline. Okay, so that's going to give me something like this. And then again on the other side. Okay, so that's about an inch back. So next what we're going to do is we're going to split the hair in the middle and the back. Okay, so we're going to take a central parting in the middle right through to the back. Okay, so the hair split in two. What I'm going to do is just divide it from probably where the occipital bone would be right here from mid-ear. Okay, so we're going to take a section here. Okay, so that's showing this part on the head sheet. And then we're going to repeat ourselves on the other side. Okay, so about mid-ear, and this would be just to above the occipital bone. Okay, so let's clip these aside. And then just according to the head sheet, we're going to take a crown section above it. Okay, so I like my crown section to start usually about halfway between these 2 points in the lower section of the hairline. Okay, so this crown section is just going to follow the head shape up to the top of the head. Okay, so there's one side. Okay, so about midpoint there, just to the top of the head. Check for balance. Okay, so if we combine these sides, this will be our crown section. Okay, so that's showing this part of the head sheet. So now that we've taken out our hairline section, this automatically creates the interior section and the side I'm going to show that head sheet here. So this is our interior section right here at the side. So we're going to be doing, I'm doing a demonstration of a full highlight done with slices. And what we can do when we're doing a full highlight with slices is we can maximize the amount of impact we're doing. Okay, so I'm not going to be weaving it. I'm going to be doing slices throughout the entire section with the goal of lightening the hair as much as we can. Okay, so then why don't we start in our bottom section here. So showing the head sheet, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be slicing up each side of these sections. Okay. So let's weave the first row just for a softer look at the hairline. Okay, so I'm just going to gently weave in and out, just taking finer strands. So in the instance where here we have previously lightened hair, I'm going to concentrate my lightener just on the sections that aren't pre-lightened. Okay, so notice where the gold is on the edge. I'm not going to apply the lightener there. Okay, and I also like to keep my foil flat as I get it folded. All right, so next section we're going to take it about 1/4 of an inch high. And then we're going to slice the top half. So this is about 1/8 of an inch. It's going to be a fairly heavy slice. So one thing I want to note about when we're slicing the hair is that this will create a demarcation line at the top, that it's not as noticeable once the hair is dry, but when the hair is wet, you do see these lines throughout it. One way to solve that problem is by doing a root shadow when we're doing our toner. So we're going to be applying a toner that's about 2 levels darker than our goal on the ends. And we're going to just root shadow that at the top just to blend these slices. Okay, so our next section again is about 1/4 inch above. And we're slicing the top half of that section. I like to keep the foil flat against the head as I get it folded. Okay. And our next 1/4 inch. You're left alone in the car. If that's the case, I would recommend you seek help. Okay, so this is going to be my last slice on this side of the hairline. Okay, so now we're going to flip over to this side of the hairline. Okay, so I'm just going to take a fine slice right at the base of the hairline, and then take a fine weave. When I have barely any color left on the brush, that's when I'll go ahead and I'll paint closer to the root. Okay, keep the foil nice and flat as you get that first foil in, or that first fold in, and now the hair has some grip. And then I'll go ahead and fold the sides. And then I'm going to take my neck section again, about 1/4 of an inch, and I'll skim just the top. Okay. I'm continuing 1/4 inch slices, or sorry, 1/4 inch subsections, slicing the top half. Okay, we got about 2 more foils at the back hairline, and then we'll move on to the crown section. So make sure to take any hairs that don't belong in the section out before you start. So sometimes there'll be stragglers from the top of your section that might try to make it into your foil. And you want to avoid that. Because once your foil is folded, those little hairs will be inside it and will start to cause your foil to drag around. Okay, there's the back hairline. That would be this row here, these two rows. So next what we're going to concentrate on is our crown section, which is this part here. So showing it on the diagram, it's here, our crown section. That's what we're going to move on to. And the crown section ends just right at the top of the head. Where that hair will be part of the part section. Okay, so we'll take a slice just above our last row of foils. Okay, and then we're just going to skim the top 1/8 of an inch of that. So our goal is to have our slices be around 1/8 of an inch. We're also going to avoid any previously lightened hair as much as we can. And then take our next section about 1/4 of an inch. So we'll continue to climb up the crown in this manner. So just a reminder, I'm taking 1/4 inch sections, skimming the top half for a goal of 1/8 of an inch slice. I tend to narrow my subsections as I get closer to the top of the head, and that begins to concentrate more of the lightness. So that will result in your hair gradually getting lighter. It will be highly concentrated. I do find, though, it does add to the necessity to do a shadow root in order to soften that blend. And by shadow root, I mean when it comes time to tone this at the sink, we'll be using a shade or two darker at the root area than we do at the mid-lengths and ends with our toner. So we could do a neutral 7 at the root just to soften this demarcation line that we're going to have. I mean, the line isn't always obvious. There are times where I will just tone it evenly root to end and leave it bright at the root. But I prefer to deepen it a little bit just for a softer look. This is a great way for lightening your clients who want as little warmth as possible in their hair. Because with these slices, we'll be able to lighten a lot of the hair quite easily and quite quickly. So we can leave their natural color in between as the soft base for these highlights to bounce off of. And then when we do our shadow root, we can introduce a cooler tone version of the color we're going for. Okay, so that will always please those clients who say that they always lift red if you try to lift them with an all over color. Or if you have lifted a client with an all over color and it's kind of gone brassy, what you can do is go through with a full head of slices like this with lightener and 20 volume or even 30 volume. And then you can do a nice cool tone, just like maybe a level or two lighter than your natural color at the root, and then your regular toner at the end. And it will blend away that old color. You could also low light in between if you want. Put like their natural color in an ash low light with a demi-permanent. Okay, so I'm just creeping up the top of this crown section. We're almost at the top of the head. So I'm continuing these slices, and they're about 1/4 inch apart. Actually, no, that would make them about 1/8 of an inch apart because I'm taking a 1/4 inch subsection and I'm slicing the top of it out. So it's almost like we're slicing 50% of the hair. So I am looking at the monitor every so often, so feel free to ask questions that you might have either about the technique or even hair color in general. So I don't mind going off topic if we need to. So I just have a few more foils until I'm at the top of the crown, and then we'll switch to the front hairline. So taking a 1/4 inch section, skimming the top 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so this is the top of the head that we've reached. I'll just show you a side view that now we have the crown foils in, okay, full slices. And then we have the back hairline foils in, just like this diagram. This section, and this section. So now we're going to move over to the side. Okay, and I was saying I was wanting to do about 1 inch, but let's just shorten this section a little bit and narrow it down. That will make our interior section a little larger. Okay. So what we're going to do is work on some foils on the side hairline here. I'm going to concentrate just on this angle, work our way back. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my hairline, see what kind of shape it is. So if I take a small section like right here, I'll be able to straighten out my section behind it. So why don't we work on the foil that's right here first. Everyone's hairline is going to be a slightly different shape, so what the fine detailing you do in the hairline is probably going to alter between each person. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate on more of a baby light here and just take out pin-sized strands. Okay, you're going to want to keep good tension as you apply your color here. Now I want to ask, are you guys able to hear my mic or not? Like if you're able to let me know, because I'm not sure if my mic's working. So if you're able to confirm that, that would be wonderful. I won't know unless someone says something. All right, so the next section is straightened out now. So I'm going to take another fine slice just right behind the first one. So why don't I just do this then? Not sure if my mic has been working, so I just took off the other one. So switch back to the phone mic, which isn't as good, but at least I know what I'm saying is being heard. I hope. Okay, so we're just going to weave tiny pin-sized strands out of this last slice, right at the hairline. Okay, so now we're going to end up doing a few more slices back to back here. So we're going to take a 1/4 inch section, and I'm going to slice the top 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and then with a little bit of color on the edge of my brush left, I'm going to crease a little closer to the root there. And then once I get that second fold in there, I know that the foil isn't going to slip around. Okay, nice and snug there. Okay, and now another foil. I'm going to just prepare it by taking a 1/4 inch section behind it and skim out that top 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to concentrate just on the areas that are dark. Okay, so that's all the lightener we need to apply for that one section. Okay, so this will be our last section at the side hairline. We're just going to skim the top 1/8 of an inch there. I'm concentrating mainly on the dark hairs. And now we're going to repeat on the other side of the hairline. Okay, we're going to do the top of the hairline separately. So I'm going to just pin that off to the side. Okay, so now we can see this side of the hairline here. Okay, So we'll do similar to what we did on the other side, where we're going to straighten our side hairline section out by just taking a narrow section here where it juts out a bit. Alright, so what that allows us to do is straighten out our section behind us without leaving a shadow at the side here. Okay, so we don't want to leave this hair out. So everyone's front hairline is probably going to be a little different. The mannequins also make the hairs look, they're a little bit thicker on a mannequin than they are on a human, where our actual hairs at the hairline tend to be finer than the rest of our hair. But when they make a mannequin, they generally use the same density throughout the head. So it doesn't always give an accurate representation of the hairline. Okay, so now we've straightened out here. I'm going to take a slice just from right behind our last section. Okay, and then just holding this entire slice, I'm going to take pin-sized highlights out of it. So these are maybe just a little bit thicker than a pin size, but that's okay. And now we're going to switch back to our slices. So we're going to section out 1/4 of an inch behind this. And then just slice the top 1/8 of an inch. I continue these until we're just about behind the ear. Which is generally about an inch worth of foils. Okay, so there's another 1/4 inch. And we're going to skim out that top 1/8 of an inch. Well, we're just about to the back of the ear, so we'll probably apply one more foil here in this section. Okay, so that gets us to the back of the ear. Okay, so there's the side hairline done. So we'll switch back to our front hairline. So what I'm going to do is work on each side of the widow's peak. We're going to take a slice. Okay, we're going to weave through it. And then we'll repeat on the other side of the widow's peak. And let me just try to fold these foils back just for some visibility here. There, now you can see that section a little better. Okay, so like the other side, we're going to just weave right through this section. So this is a fairly heavy weave. I call this kind of a macro light compared to a baby light, which is quite a bit finer. So when you really want to maximize the lightness, you're going to take your sections heavier like that. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just work straight back, taking our slices. So now that I've created with the widow's peak on each side, we kind of have a triangle here where the section's going to be a little narrower. So what I'll do is I'll just skim the top of that. And what this also does is it helps you create that heavy money piece look in the front. Where you're lighter around the front where the parts split. Okay. So this this inch hair that we're foiling straight back, this will be that veil of lightness in the front, like what the money piece creates. Okay, so 1/4 inch and then skimming the top. Okay. Another 1/4 inch section. I like to keep these concentrated, these foils in the front. So basically taking a section that is about half the width of my slice. So it's like I'm foiling a little over 50% of the hair in the front here. this is the last section I'm going to do at the front hairline. Okay, so now what we can do is switch back to the interior. But before I do that, I'm just going to section off the center here. This is the hair that the part falls under. Okay, so those later on will be done straight back towards the crown. But what we're going to do now is switch to the sides here where we have the interior section. Oh, let me just get back to my head sheet. Okay, so we're working on the interior sections here at the side. Just showing them we're going straight up. All right. So we're going to travel up just another 1/4 inch above our last section. Okay, and again another 1/4 inches. And we're just going to travel horizontally in this manner up towards the part. we're just about halfway done the interior on this side. Okay, I'm approaching the top of this interior section. I just have a couple more foils left until I move on to the other side. And then note that I am avoiding the previously lightened hair. A little bit at the edge of the set of the camera. Let me just move in a bit. Apologies. There we go. Alright, so this is the last section at the top of the interior here. Okay, so just to recap, we just finished these foils in the interior, and then we're going to repeat ourselves on the other side of the interior. Okay, so here's our other side of the interior here, which is this section showing. We're going to follow it with a 1/4 inch section above the back hairline sections. Skim out the top, 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so this particular method of highlighting is one of the fastest ways to lighten the hair overall in one session. So in today's standards though, we don't like to have the stark demarcation line at the root, but so that can be solved by doing a shadow root with your toner. I've gotten into the habit of using a shade or two darker in my toner at just at the root than I do at the ends. And it gives it a naturally sun-kissed look, because the sun rarely will lighten our hair as bright at the root as it's appearing on the end. So when we do a shadow root toner, it can really soften the look and create a more natural look, natural glow. But the lines from the slices, they do blend once the hair is dry, but I find that shadow root just perfects the look. Makes it look a little bit more believable. And clients are wanting more natural looks these days, I'm finding. Okay, so I'm still taking 1/4 inches and then skimming the top 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to double check I'm still in that same angle that I want to line up at. So I do that just by using my comb angle, checking where I'm at, making sure I'm similar at the bottom. Okay, just 2 more foils until we go back to the top. Alright, so this is the last section of the interior. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the front. Okay, so we're just going to continue, we're going to be continuing our splices back. So if we go to a top view, I'm working on this row right now. So we're just continuing our foils back. Okay, so we'll go about 1/4 inch. And we'll skim the top 1/8 inch. Okay, so I'm just continuing back with 1/4 inch sections and skimming out the top half. Now we just have a few more foils left of the entire service. this would be the last foil. We've now met up with the top of the crown section. Okay, so this was our full slice demo. Alright, so the foils are all in. So we would process this, and then we would tone it. Do our root shade, our 2 shades darker at the root, with our regular toner at the ends, and this would be nice and light. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next time for some more demos. Thanks, Valerie. If you're not following, make sure to, because I'll be on a little bit more often. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you later. Oh, you have questions. Okay. Yeah, sure. If you type them out. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks very much. It's my first time. I do a lot on TikTok, so I do have a lot more content on TikTok, but I'm trying to transition over to also some YouTube content as well. Also, to recap, I'm not. So I think you're probably listening while I was applying this, but this is a full highlight with slices. So instead of weaving them, I would do a full slice like this. If I'm going for like a MAC, I want to go as light as I can, and then I would most likely root shade it just to soften the look of the slices at the top. But awesome, thanks for subscribing, and I'm gonna hop off now, but I might be switching back to TikTok to finish off a live there that I started earlier. So thanks a lot, and why do I need the foil? The foil is just a way to hold the foil or the hair separately. It's a malleable product. There are other methods. There's like plastic ones, there's paper ones, but foil is the most inexpensive. All right, so thanks for watching, and hopefully you join on my next live. Okay, I'll see you. Have a good day.